there's this concept of the American dream that I think we've all
Yeah.
heard at some point. So like, what does that look like for you?
You know, without sounding bitter, I think a lot of the American dream is really kind of the white male supremacist American dream. I don't know if that's part of what you're looking for here, but I think, again, like when I first stepped into the American dream was like, okay, you have a house and you have a yard and you have a vacation home and you have like a family and you have this amount of kids and you're involved in all these charities or whatever weird thing. You go on a cruise once in a while, I guess, was for me, was like, I think because of where I was raised, especially outside of DC and all, there's this very like, the American dream was very much like an idea of something I would live, or like a person, not me's life that I would somehow achieve, right? And I had to, with a lot of things, as I continue to unpack my own, privilege, my own, privilege from white supremacy, et cetera, I realized that American dream was actually an American exclusion. I think, for me, the American dream for me is like, America as a dream is an America where nobody worries about shelter. Nobody worries about food. Nobody worries about mental health care in general. Like, to me, my American dream is how do we actually how do we like completely dismantle what the American dream is supposed to be and actually think about people? Like, my dream is like, how do I just imagine where like nobody is an uber billionaire until everybody is supported and taken care of on a base level. And then American dream, how do we allow everybody to have their own culture, to be exactly who they are, to have all these different representations and not have just a homogenous white capitalist male American dream. And for me, like, that's part of what I'm building. So now I think of it like the American dream, I guess, is like with kids, like that's what I'm building. One of my kids is non-binary, and like, how do I build them to be the best citizens? Like, I tell them all the time when they're doing school and there are all things, I'm like, all these things you're learning are not just so you pass a class. And you trying to think about who you want to be in the future is not just to fulfill some weird thing. Like, our whole role as human beings is to be the best people we can for ourselves and each other and help other people out. Like, nothing else is worth that, more than that. So to me, that's really the American dream. Is like, I don't know, I was in Annapolis, which is, for those who are tuning in who don't know, like, it's like on the coast area of Maryland. And I was walking like down like this like road near my mom in this really fancy community. And I see this huge house, like expansive house, right? And I get it, like, if you're a huge house person, good for you. But I looked at it and I looked at that house and was like, good on them for that house. But also, why do we have houses like that and people are homeless? Like, I've had members of my family be homeless for months and months and months and without food and, all of those things. I'm just like, why do we have that? It just sort of reiterated to me, like, I'm not angry at those people. Like, I don't know your story of how you have that. Could be an ancestral home. Go you. But like, until we have America where we don't have to see people on the street anymore, and where everybody has opportunity and privilege, right? Where people are not afraid to be who they are everywhere in their workplace and out in the world. I think there's still so much veneer out there about like being like, no, we're all good. Like, no, there are so many people who every day have to live in fear in their lives because of the color of their skin, because of our system and how it treats people and how it oppresses them and harms them. Like, nah, like, so that's my American dream. Like, I know it's a little bit, I don't believe it's unattainable. Like, I think there's also something set up telling us, no, that can't happen. No, I think we see enough movement in this world. And I think if enough people commit to it, we can get closer to there. Maybe in my kids' like generation, but I'm hoping for mine just as a stretch goal.